Hello everybody and welcome back to another Let's Talk Tarantulas video where today we're going to be doing something I was dreading a little bit, which is making my adult enclosure for my ornamental baboon tarantula, or also known as the Togo starburst tarantula, which I have up here. Let me grab him quickly so you guys can see. Now, when he was younger, he fit perfectly into this enclosure and he grew up very well in it, but it's definitely time for an upgrade. He has just molted again, and he is really starting to reach his adult sizes, so I want him to have enough space to web and all of that jazz. So it is definitely time for him to upgrade. However, I have been a little anxious about this move-in since he is my most venomous tarantula. He is also the quickest, and a lot of times these ones are just a little bit violent to people, and they are known to bite very easily since they are a skittish old world species. So let's hope this goes well and he enjoys his new large enclosure. Now with Hunter, I'm going to be moving him into an enclosure just like David's, which is my tailless whip scorpion. Since he is an arboreal species, he will just have a little more substrate than what I have David in here for, since he does like to burrow a bit, but this will be his adult enclosure and I think he will grow into it nicely. I'm going to start decorating this enclosure and setting it up for him. And to move him in, I'm going to use a technique I like to call putting the old enclosure in the new enclosure in hopes that I don't have to touch him and everything will go smoothly. So let's get started with this guy and let me just walk you through my process and my ideas for him. Firstly, I'm just going to remove this lid so it's a little easier to decorate. I got this enclosure in particular off of Amazon. I don't super recommend them because they kind of don't keep their moisture very well. I had to silicone the bottom. If you watch some of my other videos, you would definitely see me doing that often with these enclosures, but I happened to get one for free as a refund from Amazon, so I'll take a free enclosure. Now let's get this guy set up. Firstly, I'm just going to start with some dirt. I have my dirt box over here, so I'm just going to slide it a little closer so I don't spill it on my nice blanket. And now I'm just going to slowly fill the enclosure. In between little dirts, I'm just going to put some moisture in it so the dirt won't be completely dry when he tries to move in, and it'll be easier for him to dig if he chooses to do so. Okay, now that I have added the dirt, I made a bit of a hill on this side so he has plenty of substrate to burrow, since he is still kind of at that age where he wants to burrow, even though he will likely outgrow it and become almost purely arboreal. I wanted to give him that option while he grows up. The rest I'm going to fill with pieces of wood for him to hide into and all of that jazz. So we're going to add that. I don't think I'll be able to finish the enclosure completely without putting him in, since as we can compare, I want to move him in this way, so quite a bit of the enclosure is going to have to be empty. First things first, let's just do what we can for now. I have my wood shelf behind me, and I'm going to fill up this higher side since I'll be moving him in on the lower side. I have plenty of curved pieces of wood. These are all sterilized. I think he will enjoy very much. So I'm just going to shove this one right here so he has a perfect little nook to hide in. I think that'll be great. Now, let's find a couple more pieces for him to climb on. I think this one will be a good addition here. It also adds some more shade to that little nook. I think he will appreciate that. Now, I definitely have more pieces and some wider pieces, but these are definitely going to go on the shallower side at probably an angle so they fit. So I will add that in after I move him in. I'll also give him a small little piece here, just because it's cute. Now, I'm also going to put his water bowl in since it'll just be in the corner and not take up that much space. So let's go ahead and grab my decorations box. In here I have various water bowls and such, stuff I like to fill the enclosure with, but I think I will use this little water bowl. It's made of glass. I think I used him before, so that's why he has dirt in it, because they love to kick dirt and stuff. So I'm just going to place him in the corner and take my little water bottle and just fill it up. I'm also considering adding this glass mushroom for a little decoration, but we'll see how that goes afterwards. For now, I'm just going to add a couple flowers since I love adding flowers. Now, just to make this hiding spot a little better, I will cover the top with some flowers so it can be completely dark in there. He's gonna love it if he wants to hide. And I'll just take a couple of different flowers to scatter around. Just whatever I find pretty. I just like to add this little bit of foliage. I think it brings some life to my enclosures, and I recommend it. My tarantulas seem to like climbing around it, gives them other textures to look forward to. Okay, so now let's get this little guy in here and we'll finish decorating. You know, I'm looking inside of his enclosure and I think I might keep the green mushroom he had instead of the brown one. I think it'll just add a bit of color to his enclosure, so let's stick with that one, and let's also try to keep his web if possible so he can feel something a little familiar when he moves in. Now, I'm just gonna hope that he will take this calmly. I know he's quite skittish. He's the fastest tarantula I have right now. I usually don't have issues with rehousing, but he is pretty big, he is pretty fast, and we're just going to hope for the best. I'm gonna layer this little lid on the side in hopes that it will prevent him from dashing out. I'm just gonna try to push him out. He doesn't seem too bolty, so I'm happy about that. But I'm still going to try to shove him out of this enclosure with my brush. I'm just gonna try to keep motivating this guy. He's starting to get annoyed. You know, I've seen people pinch and grab tarantulas by the side, but I never got why they would do that. I feel like it's too risky to hurt the tarantula. Now we are guiding him upwards. Hopefully he will start climbing up and leave this enclosure. I'm surprised that he is not as bolty as I thought he would be. He obviously doesn't want to leave, but I'm just hoping he does not run out of this enclosure. Come on, little guy. There we go. Okay, he's finally starting to reach the edge. Come on, little guy. He's not very little. He's quite large, actually. This is much overdue. I feel like once he feels that wood, he will be a lot more excited about moving into his new home. But for now, he is absolutely hating it. He does not want to leave that enclosure. I don't think he thinks there's anything outside of this little plastic part, and I feel bad for pushing him so much. He's surprisingly not violent. Usually these guys attack quite a bit, but he doesn't seem to want to. He's just not wanting to move. Come on, little guy. He's not liking this very much. Okay, let me try to make him a small bridge. He is already almost back at the bottom. Oh, he's just run. All he wants to do right now is burrow, so it's pretty hard to convince him to go up. Oh, he's finally making it. Going to get him to climb onto this piece of wood. Oh, I think it's working perfectly. He just doesn't want to go where I want him to go. No, come on, little guy. I just want to get him on this piece of wood. But he's really hating every second of this. Oh, he's finally making it. Oh, amazing. He has just moved in and he is immediately going into that little nook that I've made him. So we're gonna go ahead and pull out his old enclosure. I see him running back here. That was a beautiful move-in. I'm going to go ahead and put his mushroom back here. We will get some footage of him in a second, but for now, let's finish decorating this enclosure now that he is in there. I'm just going to add this large piece of wood right here so he has something to spread out on. I might even turn it this way so maybe he will display himself. A lot of people's togo starburst tarantulas will put themselves on display. And I'm just going to sprinkle some sphagnum moss everywhere for a little texture and a little moisture retention, since these guys do like their moisture. And there we go, guys. His enclosure is finished and he has moved into his adult home. We're just gonna sneak this top back on. I'm glad the move went much better than I thought it would. I expected him to be a little more aggressive from other videos I've seen and people's experiences I've heard, but none of my tarantulas have been very feisty, so I'm happy he was able to move in, even though it was probably quite stressful on him. He did not want to move. But now he is in his adult enclosure. I'm really happy with how Hunter's enclosure turned out, and I'm excited to see him grow into it. Now that Hunter is officially moved in, we will put him back on the shelf, and once he is settled in tomorrow, since he's quite skinny from molting, we're going to give him a little cricket feast. Thank you all for tuning in to another rehoming video. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and leave a comment down below if you have any other suggestions or experience with your tarantulas that you would like to share. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.